Hello, everyone, and welcome back again to another God Got You Girl. She's got a testimony live. Today we have an amazing guest, my sister from the CGGA network, Miss Theresa Patterson. I am so honored to have you here today. All right. So before we get started, we're just going to say a small prayer. Hopefully you can hear me. Let's see. Can you hear me?
Yeah, the heater
Okay.
just came on now, so
Okay.
I can hear you a little bit less. So I'm trying to figure out how to turn it up.
That's okay. Hey, Alexis, let us know if you can hear us. Can you hear me? Hopefully you can. Bear with us, you guys. We're trying to check and see. Oh, she said yes, loud and clear. Okay, great. And we can hear you, Theresa. So,
Uh,
sorry, y'all. Y'all know technology. It be playing with us, but that ain't gonna keep us from doing what God asks us to do. And that is to let people know that He is still out here working. Okay? All right. So before we get started, I want to say just a small prayer so we can just welcome Holy Spirit in this space, and then we will get started. Heavenly Father, I just want to say I thank you. Thank you so very much for another day. I thank you for allowing me to have this platform where I am able to hear your amazing and miraculous works of what you have done in Teresa's life. Not only for myself, for encouragement, for all of my homegirls that will be watching live and also watching the replay. We thank you, Lord, for everything that you have done in Teresa's life. And we thank you that we are going to be blessed by what she has to share today. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. So let's
Oh,
see if I switch to my phone. Can I hear you a little bit better?
okay.
Very difficult. Let's see if
It
this.
is all good. She will be right back, y'all. I just want to thank you all for coming and being a part of this amazing live. I thank you for giving us this opportunity so that Teresa can share what God has done in her life. And I pray that it is encouraging for you. Lex, thank you for always being here and showing up and showing your support. And thank you for those who will catch the replay. We are so glad to have you. Of course, it wouldn't be perfect if we didn't have technical difficulties. But I am hoping that everything will be just fine and okay. Y'all, today, usually on Monday I will come on and I will share like something that has like happened in my life or whatever. Um, I got some words for y'all next week. Okay. Okay. So here's Teresa. She's back. Okay.
I can hear you better now.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I don't know what is going on. It's just so low.
I don't
It's
know.
still kind of low on my phone, but it's a little bit louder.
Okay, because girl, I got a loud mouth. I got a big one. So, I don't know what is going on. Um, all right, Teresa. Well, once again, I just want to thank you for coming upon a God Got You Girl to share your testimony with our homegirls. I have been honored to know you from the CGGA network, and it's so funny because when I first met you, I thought you were like really quiet and dainty, and I'm like, oh, she must be shy. Girl, I started following you on social media. I was like, she ain't shy at all, okay? Theresa is out here in these streets and she is telling the world the mighty works of God and what he has done in your life. And I was just so inspired by a live that you did in regards to your marriage because, of course, I am married. And from then on, I just really got to know you and how God has blessed you not only in your marriage, but in motherhood and your business and just what He's done inside of you as a person. So I would love if you could share whatever you have to share with our homegirls today, we ready, girl.
Yes. So I am 20. I just turned 28 on the 14th. Um, and I've been married for 4 years. We have one son, Dalen, who passed away in 2018. And then we have our daughter, Daslin. She'll be 2 next month. And then we're also expecting we'll have another baby girl due in July. So
Oh,
and I've been running my businesses. We have a couple of different businesses. One is our network called Action, and that we've been building that since 2000. It started off as a student organization at Ohio University, so that's like really where it began in like 2014. But we've been building it ever since then, and that's really like our main like business for real. And then we help people to start nonprofits and get them organized and funded so that they can make the difference that's on their heart. And then my business, Build with Theresa, that's really just what I do personally. Right now I'm working on a book called Mission Driven Mama. It's about how to destroy your fears and be present with your family as you do your kingdom work. And then I have my online content where I just share my message, to share a lot of things that I've learned and that I've grown through. And that really just started off with me just sharing the things that was helping me to grow with like my friends and family that I was connected to on social media. And as I just started sharing more, like more and more people started like reaching out to me and following me and sharing it and saying that it was helping. I'm like, oh, I can share more and more. And so it's really just grown since then. I think I really started that in like probably 2017, like right before our son passed away. So that's really just how it's grown over time. And now I'm like seeking to do more speaking engagements, just to share my testimony primarily. That's really been heavy on my heart, just sharing the things that I've actually gone through. Because you know how you meet somebody, like you can see me for who I am today, or I can see you for who you are today, but I don't know your whole life up until this point. And just
that's
being
right.
able to let people in and show people like who you have been, what God has really brought you through, how he's transformed you into the woman that you are today. That's really like that's what I've been on this year, 2022. And I haven't switched it up. Like every year, like I know I'll start doing something or set my goals, and then like by this time I'll be on something completely different. But this year I'm like, okay, boom, I'm very, very focused on accomplishing just a few goals that I have for the year. So overall, what my message is, or what my mission is to teach mothers of the next generation how to discover their kingdom missions, heal their hearts, and boss up so that they can be the women that God created them to be, and they can teach their children how to do the same. So really, my compassion has always been for the kids. Like I started volunteering at a daycare when I was in high school, and I was like, yeah, I love the kids. Like I love the kids. I started working with the youth in different programs when I was in college. I started volunteering and doing mentorships with the younger students. And once I graduated, I worked at an after school program. I was a substitute teacher, just doing all these things to work with the kids. And even with Action, we started a program where we worked with middle school students. And I worked with this program called Ladies Quest. So that's where Queen Theresa came from. I had all the students calling me Queen Theresa instead of like Miss Theresa. Like
Mm-hmm.
everybody in the class, all the kids was calling me Queen Theresa. So I'm like, yeah, call me Queen Theresa. But so yeah, just I really had that compassion for helping the kids grow up, thrive in life for real. And I recognized that I would have a bigger impact by serving their mothers. So because moms spend so much more time with their children than I ever could as a substitute teacher or as a program director. So just helping the moms, because we have that great influence on who our children become. And so I envision a network of women who are building godly families, and we're
Mm-hmm.
serving our husbands and training our children, and we're dominating in the work that God uniquely equipped us to do. Like that's really what I want to, that what I want to see God do through me, for, and all of the women that I'm able to connect with and work with, that we're just able to expand his kingdom through everything that we're doing. So yeah, that's really like overall who I am, what I'm all about. Like, yeah, so
Well, I think that is absolutely, um, it's more than amazing. It's heaven sent. Um, and just to know, like, your journey started with the kids, but the kids have, there is a reason they got here somehow, and they got here by their parents. And a lot of times, yes, the mom has like so much influence, even though dad is there, he is active. We know dads, they focus on providing, they focus on doing a lot of things, and they're there to educate their babies as well. But having that focus on the mother, I absolutely love that. And the reason why I say that, and this is just me being transparent, is when I became a parent, a lot of people know I was only 20 years old when they placed my son in my arms. And then I was 28 when I got my second son. And even though people assume, oh, you have a baby, you're a woman, you know how to be a mother, you know how
right.
to do this thing, I didn't. And to be honest with you, it wasn't until I really started walking into, I just say, just being diligent about being a Christian and wanting God to like be the head of my life and really surrendering my life to him, is when I realized that, girl, I know jack crap about being no mother, okay? And I still don't. And I am so blessed and honored to know women like you, because you help me. You help me a lot in noticing the things that I can change or things that I can do that's according to God's will for my children and for my marriage too. Because even when I got married, regardless, I've been married for 9 years. I didn't know what marriage was really about,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't even say just because I got married. Now, Kendall, find out what marriage is really about. No, it was like, oh, okay, we married, we doing this thing. Yeah, okay. But I am learning now with my walk with God that it's so much more, and I just I honor the fact that God has allowed me to be in your presence, so that I can learn so much more and I can get better. Like, even though I'm 35 years old, there's still an opportunity for me to get, motherhood right. It's still an opportunity for me to get my marriage right. It's still an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity for me to get myself right. And I just want to know, how did you get there? Like, what what event or whatever helped you get to this space?
So I'm very, very similar to you in the fact that like I didn't really know what being a mom would require, or like anything like that. Definitely not being a wife. I didn't know very many married women to like even ask or to observe
Yes.
for real. I really just had my grandma. So my example of a wife is my grandma for real. So like becoming a mom and getting married, I'm learning everything by trial and error. Like that's really like the best like description that I can say. Just growing over time and just focusing on my relationship with God. Like the same is for me too. Like as I really like grew more in my relationship with God and reading his word and applying it to my life, that's what really helped me to grow. It wasn't even seeking out those examples for moms and wives that I could like model after. That's what I was on before. Like, yeah, I wish I had a woman that I could talk to learn these things from, which I do still appreciate the opportunities when I have that, but I don't like need it. That's not my primary source. Like, and one thing that really like helped me was recognizing like the best person that I can learn how to be a wife from is my husband, because I need to be a
Oh,
good
wow.
wife to him. So I need to
Mhm.
study him. I need to study what he needs. I need to study like how he communicates, so that I can be that good partner to him. And so like instead of looking for other women, like I sought to really study my husband. And I believe he's the one that really told me that. Like he was talking about something else, and it really like clicked in my mind, like, okay, so I should apply that, like that principle to our relationship too. And then like the same thing with motherhood, like studying my children individually, like learning like how, like one thing with Dazzling, like she takes initiative. Like she is a leader. Like she is going to make some stuff happen. She is persistent. Like these things, they can also be very frustrating for me. Like when she moves ahead of me, like we will be walking through the door and she run in front of
Mhm.
me because she want to get in the room faster. I'm trying to change
Yes.
her diaper and she taking the diaper, she's trying to move the diaper around, like stuff like that. That can be very frustrating. But just recognizing that about her personality, like that's something that God gave her. That's not something that I taught her. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? So just recognizing those things about her helps me to be a better mom to her. And just knowing like little things about my husband, like how he is and what like makes him discouraged and what motivates him, like so that I can recognize when and where he needs me, how he needs me to be there for him. So really, like that is the biggest principle. Like studying them and studying my word will help has helped me to grow over time. And of course, we had like millions and millions of challenges that have like really proven like why I needed to do these things. Um, so yeah, over time, just continue to learn and to grow.
That's good that you were able to have that space to do that. Cuz sometimes I feel like for me, I think that my husband just thinks that I should already know these things. And the actual reality is I don't. Like you said, I've
Yeah, yeah.
never seen this done before. I've never seen a I've never really seen a successful marriage. Um, I've seen successful single motherhood. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
just me being honest. I've seen successful single motherhood of moms who have made it, and their children, went away to college, or they're this X, Y, and Z. They've done this, they've done that. That's what I've seen success with, which I think put that independent mentality in my
Mm-hmm.
head. I guess why it never really came to fruition for me to even really get married. And then when I did, it was just like, oh, okay, well, we just got a piece of paper that made it legal for us to lay in the bed together. Like literally, that's how I felt,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, just really diving into, like you said, the word, getting the answers from there, and not only getting the answers, but girl, the conviction. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
um, um, it's it's really been helping me, and it's kind of been leading me. I know you said like the best place to get answers for you was from the word. And so I'll go to the word, I will read it, but I still need somebody to kind of help me like
Mm-hmm.
navigate this thing. Cause I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, how do I do that when I'm feeling this certain kind of way or when I'm still so broken? Um, can you explain a little bit about how you healed yourself or how you're healing yourself, which helps
Mm-hmm.
you with marriage and motherhood and helping other people,
Yes.
drive out
So
their
that has
mission.
been. Hmm?
No, good, go ahead.
I was saying that that has been a big part of my life, just healing, because growing up I had a lot of trust issues. I believe that I was unlovable, and I wasn't very like close with anybody. I didn't have very close relationships. Not with my mom. My mom passed away when I was 8 years old, so I didn't have that woman in my life like after that, really guiding me through life. I lived with my grandparents until I turned 12, I believe, 11 or 12. And then I moved in with my dad, and me and my dad didn't have a great relationship. Just because I was really just mad that we had to live with him. Like, we were straight with my grandparents. I didn't want to go. I had to switch schools. I had to make friends. And I'm like, I'm not like anybody over here. And like, cause they lived on the other side of town. And I'm like, I got to try to build relationships and stuff like that. So I was mad at my dad. And I feel like I couldn't really trust anybody because I didn't think they would love me because I had so many different things that was wrong with me, like so many different flaws, and I made so many different mistakes as a child, and this is how I'm looking at myself. And I just thought like my expectations of people loving me was kind of too high for imperfect people, and that's not really that. I didn't have that perspective at all. So I'm like, it's me, it's got to be me, because all of these people, like, how all of these people not treating me the way that I believe that I should be treated. They don't really ask me questions about how my friendships are at school, like what's going on at school. Everybody only care about when the report cards come out, but nobody cares about like how my daily life is really going. So I felt so alone, and that really like went into it as I got older in high school. I was very, very isolated until I stopped really caring so much about what people thought about me. I started to build more friendships, and that helped me to go to college. I got to college, and I was like, okay, I'm out here. Y'all think whatever y'all want to think for real. But during that time, I had an abortion when I was 18 years old, and that was like a very like impactful experience as well, because I didn't talk to anybody about it, like, because nobody asked me about my relationships, my friendships. Like, I had a boyfriend at the time, so it was like, okay, he's the only person that I'm talking to. He's the only person that actually showed me that he cared, so he's my friend, you know what I'm saying? So then we made that decision because he didn't want to have a baby, and I'm like, okay, so if you don't want to have a baby, I don't want it to be no reason like in the future why you was to decide that you don't want to be here no more, and then I'm all by myself. So I'm not gonna make you have a baby because you don't want to do it. And all right, so cool, whatever, we're not gonna do this. And I'm like, yeah, I'm about to go to college anyway, so that's not even in my plans. So that was the decision that I made at that point. I just went on about my life, and I didn't tell anybody about that until I met my husband. Like, he was the next person that actually really cared about, like, showed me that he cared about me for me and didn't really want anything from me. Like, was actually he like all of those things that I was saying that nobody had did, like asked me about my life, what I had going on, and actually expressed like that they care. Nobody did that until him. So I was able to open up to him about that, and that really like brought us. It was after we were already dating. We had been together for like a year or something like that. But just with all these trust issues, it was very difficult to even open up with him. But I knew that like I'm like, I made that decision because to tell him, because I'm like, if I want us to actually stay together and be together, I don't want it to be something that he finds out later on. He felt like that I just lied to him, and that I just never told him, or like that I was keeping secrets from him. I don't want this to be a secret that hinders our relationship. So that's why just something like on a random day, like, you know what, something that I never told anybody before, and I want to tell you. And he didn't look at me crazy. He didn't say, you know what, you was a bad person. Like, so he didn't change the way he treated me. He asked me questions. Like, he wanted to understand like why I was where I was, and like where I was at now. So like, he cares. So I'm like, yes, I was so very, very thankful for that. And that, like, really that first experience, it make it so much more easy to now be at this point where, because that was in 2016, probably 2016, to now where I'm like, okay, on this live video telling anybody. But so yeah, just the trust issues and just building my relationship with God, because I have been very insecure just about like how I look, and like my hair, my clothes, my shoes, how much money I got. like what people think about me, what like the type of friendships that I build. Sometimes I've seen like people get a lot cooler with each other than they've gotten cool with me. And so I'm like, is it me? Like why do people not like me? So that has always been a problem. But definitely building my relationship with God has helped me to heal because I've experienced his love. Like the love that I had always been seeking from other people, doing different things, like going to different places. Like I was seeking that love and to feel good enough to really fit in with everybody else. And I really found that in my relationship with God, and that has really helped me to heal and to be more confident speaking about like my life and my experiences, to love my husband and my children, to love other people. Like that's really like God's love has been the key, because without that, for my perspective would have been so much more worldly, which is that's what it was. Like, what's the world's definition of love, the world's definition of marriage? Like, if he do you wrong, leave him, like stuff like that. And it's like, no, but I have to forgive. I have to forgive, I have to grow, I have to change. Like these things that I would not have learned or been able to do or apply without God and his love. So that's been the key to my healing, to my transformation, to my boldness and my courage. So yeah.
Do you think you did more of that healing before you met Daz, or do you think that you did a lot of that healing during your relationship?
Definitely during before, because I didn't get to know God until I met Jasmine. Jasmine actually introduced the Bible to me when I was 22, my senior year of college. So up until that point, I was doing my own thing. I was just doing my own thing, just strategizing, just whatever I saw, what I heard, what I experienced, this is how I'm making decisions. And so like that really opening the Bible for myself had really started that journey. So Jasmine has been like my discipleship coach and like my partner, my mentor, like in this journey, like as well as my husband and my life partner and stuff like that. But as far as my walk with God, that he has been that person for me. And I'm thankful because clearly God said I needed that in my life. So yeah, definitely I've done all of it within my relationship with Yasmine, because we were actually together for 2 years, maybe 2.5 years, two and a half years before we got married. So during this time though, I was definitely healing and growing. It wasn't really until we got married that I started experiencing more and more healing, more like true healing that didn't like feel so bad, or still like I wasn't still left so hurt. And I believe that was just because based on our relationship, like we were at OU, and then we graduated, and we moved in together. So we were living together, having sex. We had our son Dalen during this time before we got married. We got married 3 months after Dalen was 3 months after we got married, Dalen passed away. But we had been married he was 6 months old at that time. So it was like boom, all of this, like that really like jump started my healing journey as well when Dalen passed away, because I needed to hear. I needed a reason to be here. I needed to get closer to God. I needed to experience his love. So that was like, that's all a part of that journey. Like, but it's all really been since I got married. And that's something that a lot of people talk about too, like making sure that you get to a certain point before you get married. And that's very important when it's available, like when you can do that. Like if you're not already married, if you're not already in this relationship, you can do that. Yes, focus on that, but don't think that you missed out because you're married now and you didn't do all of this stuff before you got married. Because like I started thinking, like, people like, do you think that you were, because we had all these challenges and we were arguing and stuff like that, like, do you think that you were ready to get married when you did? And I'm like, no, But at the same time, like, that made me feel terrible because I'm like, I had made this commitment. Like, I thought this was the right decision. And I'm thinking about going backwards, but I can only go for, like, I have to go forward. And now I have that context of marriage where, like, leaving is no longer an option. And so yeah, this has been like a very fruitful and adventurous journey for real, just for me, like being 12 years old, 14 years old, even 18 years old. I would not have imagined myself being who I am and where I am today. So my encouragement is always to women, like, focus on your relationship with God wherever you at, like single, married, in between, you know what I'm saying? Like, work on that so that you can heal, and don't be so focused on what you wish that you could have done before you got into this position. Even with having kids, that's another big thing that we be like, yeah, you know, I wish I would have worked on myself more before I had kids. Like, no,
Yes.
like, work on yourself with your children. Like, let your children help you to heal. That's been very, very having that perspective has been very beneficial for me too. So yeah, those are my two like things to apply so that we can all heal and be who God created us to be.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing. You said so much, and to see, this is why I be needing, like Yasmin said, I be needing my post-it notes because your girl be forgetting. The Holy Spirit was just over here dumping, and I forgot. But what I will say is, oh no, don't leave me. Ah, what was I gonna say? Oh, it's so funny you talked about this because Theresa, I didn't realize how broken I was until I got married. I didn't realize how broken I was until I was on baby number 2 and
Mm-hmm.
experienced postpartum depression. Like, I didn't realize that, and I think it was had something to do with, like I said earlier, I always saw successful single mothers. I always saw,
Yeah.
you know, the independent woman, and I think sometimes I still I know sometimes I ain't even gonna say I think I'm gonna be transparent on this thing. You feel me? But I know sometimes I still feel that way, and that hinders me. And it's so funny that you said leaving is not an option because, girl, this weekend that that was all up in my head this weekend because I was Satan was on a mission, okay? And I have been really trying to apply the things that I have been learning in the Bible, that I have been learning from women like yourself and women like Yasmine, and that really help you and try and teach you about the godly way of doing your marriage, and helping me understand the context of what I'm reading in the Bible and applying it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing it, and I've been working on me. I have definitely been healing. Is it a process? Yes.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I just thank God for my husband's patience, even though he don't really got none, because he like, girl, I've been knowing you for 16 years and you just now realizing you got some issues. Okay, I was trying to tell you that when I met you. But like I said, I I don't know why I just get this fixated image. Like I said, a fixated image of, I can do this by myself. Like, even being married and having my husband around, or even, let's say, not even the marriage. Let's say when we were just, jacking up. And I would do things like go to the grocery store, and he would be like, "Why are you getting those groceries out the car?" That's just what I do. Like, I got this. I can do this. You know what I'm saying? Just always
Yeah.
having that mentality of, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. But when you get married, there is no more I, you know? And I am learning that. And I'm learning that, unfortunately, I'm learning that the hard way, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I am so thankful, not only for my husband's patience, but I'm thankful for women like you who are helping me and teaching me how to take what God is showing me in his word and applying it. And I just appreciate you so much. I appreciate you for, sharing your testimony and sharing, giving us, some tips that we can use in this world, um, so that we not only can heal ourselves, but also how it can really help us, in our marriage and in motherhood. So I absolutely love
Yes.
it.
That's so real, like having that independent perspective, and then now you're learning how to be codependent, like with a completely different person. That's a whole process in itself, for like that, managing the conflict, like the
Woo! Ah!
misalignment in perspectives, like those that yeah, like all the way we all be going through it. Yeah, that's something for me too that we really really struggle with in the beginning of our relationship. Even like once we got married, it was a lot more. It was a lot easier
Okay.
because we had that foundational commitment where it's like not every time that we arguing, we like, oh, should we even be together? That was like that consideration. Like every time we have a disagreement over something small, like because you didn't take the chicken out the freezer. Now I'm like, I told you why you didn't take the chicken out the freezer. I told you, very simple. It's a very simple task. Can I deal with this for the rest of my life? I'm
Right.
considering these things. So, but yes, that's how it really was. Like, or small stuff that's like, now we ready to leave because we didn't have those conflict resolution strategies. For real, we didn't have this. So this is something that we use. It's called the communication check-in, and we don't use it at, like, definitely not perfect with using it, but we know the strategies. It's called a communication check-in. This is where you ask questions to make sure that the other person feels heard, they feel understood, and that they're satisfied with the outcome. And that's something that, like, I definitely have to get better at with doing with Yasmine. Just asking him more and more about what he's talking about. Like, if he didn't take the kid out the freezer, why didn't you take it out? Rather than like getting mad or like accusing him of not caring about what I'm talking about, like stuff like that. And just making sure that I hear him out, where his heart was at, like what he had going on, what was the challenges, like maybe he had a phone call that was taking a long time and he just forgot about it, like stuff like that. Being more understanding and compassionate with each other, like just make sure the other person feels heard, they feel understood, and then they're satisfied with the outcome. Because without those three things, like, we ain't never gonna be on the same page. If I don't feel like that he hearing me out as to why it was important for him to take the chicken out when I needed him to, then we're not gonna be on the same page. And if I don't hear him out about why he didn't take it out, what was going on, then we're not gonna be on the same page. So them three keys have been like definitely transformational in our marriages, as far as that, like, independent to codependent, like, transition.
What were those again? What were those again? Those three keys?
It's making sure that they feel heard, understood, and satisfied with the outcome. And it's called a communication. You can call it whatever you want, bro. We call it a communication check-in.
Communication check in. And do you have that available somewhere? Because we need a copy, okay?
So that's we have a workbook, a relationship evaluation workbook that you can purchase on our website. It's $10, and that's another, like, we're really big on creating, at this point, templates. Like,
Okay.
templates that we can use forever and that other people will be able to use as well, because we have experienced a lot of different challenges, and like we got to be able to duplicate this, like, so that we can do it, we can like improve ourselves over and over again.
Mhm.
And then like recognize, like we have a lot of friends who have been in similar situations, have grown through similar situations, and we like, okay, boom, this will help y'all too. So we created that relationship evaluation. It's based on like the 8 areas that we evaluate our relationship every month. In this, like communication, roles and responsibilities, intimacy and sex, finances, work and business. What's the other ones? What souls being led by, and the last one is, I can never remember all 8 all at the same time, but but it is on our website, and that's like a workbook that would help you and your husband to get on the same page, like, and just using it every month, where you don't have to talk about all of these things like in a spur of the moment when emotions are high. Like, we have created this space where it's like, okay, boom, I know you're not mad at me right now. Even if you was mad at me when whatever you wrote down on a piece of paper, you might have been mad at me then, but you're not mad at me now. So now you can
Right.
hear me out. You can hear me out. We can apply that communication check-in a lot better during these relationship evaluation times. Whereas in the moment it is a lot more difficult because my feelings are hurt and I'm like, I can't really hear
Yes.
what you're saying.
That's
So
right.
when we do have those evaluations, we can get on the same page. So yeah, you can purchase it on the website. And that will help you to build that intimacy for real, like intellectual before even physical, and like that emotional, because that's like a big challenge for me. Like when I be like real emotional, when my feelings are hurt, I be very
Mhm.
disconnected for real. So, but doing this helps us to get on the same page where we can really hear each other out.
Yes, yes. I absolutely love this. I love your tips. I love everything that you're giving, and so is the audience. They are loving it too. I tried to put like those the 3 keys in communication, the communication check-in, making sure that the person
Mm-hmm.
feels heard, understood, and satisfied with the outcome. Now, satisfied with the outcome. What if I ain't? Then what? What do you do then?
What'd you say?
What do you
You
do
said, what do
then?
you do then?
Yep. If
When
you're not
what?
satisfied with the outcome.
Um, if you've gone through it and then y'all have came up with the outcome, and then the other person is not satisfied with it after y'all agreed to it, then you had to go like start the conversation all over for real, because you don't want to continue to move forward with the outcome that y'all not on the same page. It's because then that creates 2 problems. Y'all had the first problem, then y'all had the secondary problem, so y'all gonna have to go back to the first problem anyways. So that's really the big thing. A lot of times when you're not satisfied with the outcome that y'all have like came to, then you have to dig deeper as to why that's not a acceptable outcome. And a lot of times it has to do with your heart issues, like those things that's going on inside of you that need to be talked about, that need to be talked through. That's another thing that I've learned too, that the vulnerability, the transparency, and sharing your testimony um helps to build that intimacy in your marriage. Because if I hadn't shared like having an abortion with my husband, then he wouldn't have understood that part of me, and that wouldn't be something that he can then take into consideration within our sexual relationship. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's like, boom, he don't even know to consider that I've experienced this trauma. That's like, we had to be more like sensitive in this area. So just sharing those things, and like um talking with your husband and understanding his heart issues too, that will help you to communicate with him a lot better. You can be more mindful of the things that might cause him to isolate himself or separate himself, or even like bad habits. Like maybe he does things that you know are bad, that's not healthy for him, but he's coping with something. So those are things that's like, boom, if you're not satisfied with the outcome, like digging deeper into each other's hearts and understanding why this won't work, like why this is just not gonna work, and like being the person that is satisfied with it, like being okay with growing through that process, and even not coming up with a very specific outcome in that one conversation. Like so many times we've had conversations like over weeks before we actually came to an outcome, and we had to be okay with that and not let that really separate us, but just know that this topic or this decision that needs to be made is still on the table. We just haven't got to that point. And a lot of times God will work in us and like around us for real, that will help us get to the point where we can make a decision. So yeah, that's a lot how to handle when you're not satisfied with the outcome. And yeah, just as you continue to practice at it and remain on the same page, that like that you're on the same team, and like remaining in your relationship with God and staying in communication with him, like you will be able to come up with outcomes that you and your husband are satisfied with.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Because oftentimes, well, I'm going to speak for myself. Oftentimes, I think things are supposed to be like math. 1 plus 1 is 2. That's just what it is. But sometimes it's not. And like you said, it's okay if you have to revisit a conversation.
Yeah.
I have to learn and understand that if I have to revisit the conversation, allow God, like you said, to work within that so that when we come back together, I'm not still harboring any emotions or feelings. And if I am um, opening up to my husband or a friend or whoever it is um, about what's going on so they can understand. I think my fear is always that the person is not going to understand or their response. So that's just something I guess I got to work on. But
No, yes, that was me too, because like in the beginning of our relationship, man, we didn't know how to communicate like with each other, like not at all. Like we just had two different communication styles. Like Desmond, he first of all, Desmond talks very very loud. Like naturally, he has a big family, so he got to talk loud, so somebody can hear him. And that's not me. I communicated very like softly, I'm just talking. So every time Desmond would try to explain something to me, he yelling at me, like, and so I would just feel like that he was so angry with me. And I'm like, why? How could you possibly be so mad at me already? I'm trying to ask you a question. I didn't do anything. So, but that was like a really big like challenge for us. Like, and so before we even recognized that that's what was happening, because I would be like, oh my goodness. I remember like arguing in the car so many times, like just so many times where I would just be like, why do you keep yelling at me? And he's like, you're not listening to what I'm saying. You keep focused on me yelling at you. So now he's actually getting louder because I'm not listening to him. But I'm like, I can't hear you because I don't know why you so mad at me. Like, so yeah, like endless conversations about that back and forth for real. So, but it really wasn't until we started understanding how we each communicated that we were able to get better. And then even still, I was afraid of him getting mad at me because of those experiences. Like that really, really hurt my heart. It hurt my heart, and so I didn't want it to happen again. So I would just not say anything because I'm not gonna say nothing because I don't want him to get mad at me and start yelling at me. I don't want him to start yelling at me again. So I would just be quiet.
yes,
And that
yep.
would be like, why you don't want to tell me like what's going on? And I'm like, ain't nothing going on. It's nothing to tell because I'm more afraid of what you might say than like anything else. so yeah, just that was something that happened with me, just studying him and learning him as a new person for who he is like in 2022, and not still attaching those same characteristics to him from 2017, where he was yelling at me every time I try to talk to him, where it's like, now he still yells. He still yells, but I understand that he's not mad at me when he's yelling. So that like studying him will help you to do that and just recognize like his growth, like he like boom, okay, he has changed a lot. So yeah, that fear of how he might respond, that caused a lot more issues for me and for him, because he was frustrated that I wasn't communicating with him, but I didn't
Mm-hmm.
believe that I could. Like, I'm like, I don't think that it's gonna go well, so I might as well just be quiet, because I ain't gonna get the outcome that I want anyways. Whether I
Yep.
communicate or I don't, it's gonna happen the same way. So I might as well just save myself the energy. But the relationship evaluation and applying that communication check-in within that time would definitely help with that, because y'all would both agree that this is a time that y'all will listen to each other to try to come up with solutions from.
Well, I'm gonna definitely check it out. I don't know if my husband will sit down and do it with me because, you know, he's the type of person where I already know everything. I done already told you. I don't need a book to tell me. I done already told you. You the one just now getting it. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
no. That's right. It'll still help you, even if only you do it. Even if you only evaluate your relationship in these areas, and then just throw that plug in. As you growing and as you getting better, as you seeing growth, and he like, how's you doing it? You like, well, you know what? You should have been doing this evaluation with me.
Okay. I like that. Yes, I love that. Oh my goodness. I don't want to keep you long because we are approaching 1 o'clock, and I told you I didn't. I don't want to go over. Our time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but Teresa, I am so honored and happy that that you decided to be here today and decided to share this with our home girls because it's been
Yes,
a
yes.
blessing. It's been a blessing for you being here. I have You've been a blessing to me in my life and in my journey, and I am just glad, so glad that you shared, these tips and some of your testimony with us. Yes, Yasmin. Teresa is a gift. Yasmin,
Thank you,
you are a
Yasmin.
gift too.
Yes, for real. I watched
Yeah.
Yasmin's testimony on YouTube the other day, and I was in full blown tears, like full blown, like, oh my god. So yes, you are a gift too.
hmm I thank you so much, Teresa. I did leave your links tree, I believe, in my description box, so people can find you and find your resources. I am going to add I am action to the description box as well, so that we
Okay.
can get those resources. So, you know, like Yasmin says, no matter what, we're gonna fix our 50. Okay, and that's what I'm trying to do. Even if somebody else don't see it, that's all right. I know I'm doing what I need to do to fix my 50, because
That's
at the end of
real.
the day, it's not only going to just help our marriage, but it's going to help me too in the long run, and help me
Yes.
with being a mother, being that whole motherhood piece, which we didn't even get to, but I would love to have you back again so we can talk about that as well. Just talk about that journey, that you had, because you are a mother of a real angel. And then you are a mother of little angel queens that you are raising right now.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
so I thank you so much, Teresa, for being here today. And I thank you for your time. I don't want to keep you, but I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you too, Kenny. You are so sweet. You are so inspiring and encouraging, for real. Like, yeah, same thing that Jody said. Jody was saying on our call that you are very, very supportive, and I'm like, yes, that is definitely Kendall. Like, 100%. Like, we need platforms like this. We need people like you that just really have a heart to see women grow in their relationship with God. Like,
Yeah.
foundationally, and that's like what you like, your actions and your words have shown that that's really where your heart is at. So I appreciate that. I've always needed that in my life, like a friend like you So yes, keep doing your thing. Keep being
Oh,
obedient and being used by God, because you are really like serving and helping, empowering so many people every single day. And you don't even know it. You don't even know it. Because your impact is really exponential too, for every one woman that you serve, that you reach. Like, you're really helping the whole family, helping the whole community, because every woman really is able to grow and to share those things with other people, and like changing the way that she interacts with other people. So just remember that, like, you not only impacted me, but you impacted my whole family. So yes, I
oh.
appreciate you for that.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Teresa. It's all glory to God. I appreciate that because, girl, I don't see it. I just be trying to tell people, look, y'all need to get to know Teresa, okay? She is the bomb.com. She gonna get you together. Boom. That's just what it is.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem at all. And thank you for my audience. Thank you, Lex. Thank you, Bree. Thank you, Yas, for being here today. And thank you for each and every one of you all that will watch our replay. We appreciate you. We thank God for you. And we will see you all next time. Peace.
Bye bye.